Alrighty boyos, welcome back once again to another video. How you guys doing? Guys, today we're going to be doing a video on the newest Chrome Commando to come to the game. And there was actually two Chrome Commandos that came to the game. And they're not necessarily new, but they're more relevant now because of the hero rework. We're going to be doing a review on Diecast Jonesy, and I'll actually do a little bit of a mini review on Chromium Ramirez whenever we get there. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a video on Diecast Jonesy. He is the more interesting of the two, and he kind of sticks out a little bit. And I know a lot of people are curious if he's even worth running, and that's the question that we're going to answer in today's video. Before we do jump into it, I'd like to go and update you guys on a video that's coming tomorrow. Right before I recorded this video, or right before I'm right here right now, I had done a Twitch stream where I was preparing my Stonewood SSD for the endurance mode, and then afterwards I finally did the Stonewood SSD, and this is the banner that you get from it. Tomorrow I'll be making a guide for that, showcasing some trap tunnels, showcasing what you might want to do in terms of your loadouts and all that kind of stuff if you do want to get your hands on this banner. I will of course be doing Plankerton, Candy Valley, and Twine Peaks as well if you guys are interested in that. Number two is that we actually got partnered on Discord. You might notice the hoodie that I have on right now. Your support has been absolutely ridiculous. It has been insane. The fact that I have a verified Discord server is all thanks to you guys, and I love you guys for that, and I thank you so much for that. The support over on Twitch is basically the reason we have a Discord server, because we hit that threshold of over 10,000 followers. I love you guys here on YouTube, over on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. You guys made this possible. Thank you. And lastly, I would like to mention that the newest G Fuel flavor came out yesterday, known as Type O, inspired by Code Vein. If you guys want to pick that up, code demonjoefr for 10% off. It comes with an absolute badass shaker cup, and it looks pretty insane. If you're wondering how it tastes kind of like a fruit punch. So if you like fruit punch, or you like something like fruit punch, it kind of has different fruits in it. I'm not exactly sure. It tastes weird. It's like blood. Not really. But if you guys are interested in that, code demonjoefr at checkout. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the video and check out these heroes. Now, how do you unlock them, or how do you unlock Diecast Jonesy? He's really the main focus. You want to go to the item shop, go to the items, and he will be in the event items. You can find him right here. So this is the guy we're going to be reviewing today. Now, I'm not going to make a video on Chromium Ramirez, so I'm just going to go ahead and do a mini review on her right now. If you want to skip this review, do whatever it says on screen. So whenever it comes to Chromium Ramirez, I just want to point this out really quick. Her standard perk, reloads with an empty magazine, regenerate 13.5% of your shield over 3 seconds. And with her commander perk, she allows you to reload 50% faster, as well as regenerate your shield faster for 3 seconds. I just want to do this mini review really quick because I won't be making a video on her. She's really bad. She's pretty bad. Previously, people would use her in the support slot because the 50% reload speed would apply. It was really bugged. Now they made sure to fix it, so now you can only get that reload speed if she was your commander. She's really not good. She's not going to out damage a Sledgehammer, a Raptor, a Beetlejuice, or anything like that. You could play as her if you might want some survivability, but even then, Survivalist Jonesy is still better. Going Coconuts is still better, and every other commander that might be able to increase your damage, having 50% reload speed will not out damage those characters. So Chromium Ramirez, only pick this character up if you really want to put her in the collection book, or you want to hold on to her in case she gets buffed or anything. Overall, this character really is not good, and just looking at her on paper, you can tell that she's really not that good, and that's why I'm not going to make a video on her. But let's go ahead and get to the main topic of the video, which is Diecast Jonesy, because I know a lot of people are going to be very curious about this character. He of course gets sold for 2,800 gold. You have Going Commando, Frag Grenade, and Warcry. I would prefer if this character had Shockwave, because I hate when soldiers don't have Shockwave, but that's okay. Whenever it comes to this character, his standard perk increases your Going Commando damage by 25%. If you use this character as a commander, it increases your Going Commando damage by 50% and changes the damage type to energy. And I know that this right here makes a lot of people very curious. Well, is Diecast really good? Is this Going Commando really that good? And I want to answer that question in today's video. So let's go and head on over to the loadout that I'm using with Diecast Jonesy. First off, we have the team perk of Keep Out. Really, you could put Phase Blaster here. Well, actually, yeah, you could get away with using Phase Blaster if you wanted to. Hot Swap or just anything that you really want. I always go with Keep Out because Going Commando and Warcry kind of go 1-in-1 with each other. Warcry and then use your Going Commando. So having Frag Grenades be that only ability that isn't tied to that combo, I go with Keep Out to make them a little bit stronger. We have Going Again, which comes from Commando Ramirez. You can find another soldier in the collection book that also gives Going Again. This is the PlayStation exclusive one. It decreases your Going Commando cooldown by 30%. Next up, I have Ain't Done Yet. You can find the character that coincides with this character. This is a reskin. This is Birthday Brigade Ramirez, but you can find the soldier that does this as well in the collection book and increases Going Commando duration by 5 seconds, or the llamas for both these characters. You can get them through the llamas too. You got Sergeant Winter, who comes from the Frost Knight event. Going Commando fires a snowball grenade every 20 shots, dealing 19 base water damage and a radius of half a tile. Then I have Cyberclops. Because our minigun does have energy damage, I went with Cyberclops. Energy damage has a 20% chance to zap to nearby enemies for 58% of the damage. And then of course I have Azalea Clark. Because we have an energy minigun, this will increase our minigun damage by 15.5% because it's ability and because it shoots energy rounds. For the gadgets, it doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna go ahead and hop into a late Twine mission at power level 140, and they actually fixed it. It actually says 140 now, which is really cool. I'm gonna hop into a mission of a 140 mission and find a smasher. We're gonna test it out. I'm gonna talk about Diecast, why I like him, why I dislike him, and what he's really good for, and all that kind of stuff. So I will see you guys then. Alrighty boyos, so here we are in a power level 140 mission with Diecast Jonesy. Now, I have a smasher over here, and I'm going to go ahead and, do this test, get this test out of the way, give you guys an idea of how much damage you're going to be doing. Of course, we are by ourselves, so no buffs from teammates. Give you guys an idea of how much damage you're going to be doing with this guy's Going Commando, and just kind of walk around the map, kill some husks, and kind of talk about the character in general, and give you guys a good idea of the playstyle of this character, and, where you want to use them, if you even want to use them at all, and all that kind of stuff. So of course we got some husks over here. I don't think I have a water weapon on me. I have a 106. It doesn't really matter. I'll just use this 130 Hemlock. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the husks that are surrounding the smasher, and then we are going to focus him down. So for this test, I'm actually going to use our Going Commando in the most optimal situation possible. So I'm of course going to be using it with Warcry. So let's go ahead and get rid of these guys. It's going to take a while because we have matching elements, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and clean these guys up. Of course they got to be husky husks. They wouldn't want to be any other husk, right? So let's go ahead and get that smasher out of the way again. Let's take out this riot husky right here. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and get this smasher over here, get him to rush us one more time, and then I will showcase exactly what this Going Commando can do. So there we go. He is stuck on a tree. Okay, well, that's good enough for me. So I'm going to go ahead and slow field this guy. Warcry, pop Going Commando, and let's see how long it's going to take to kill him. And there you go. So that was a pretty decent time to kill. That was actually okay. So I would say that was some pretty decent damage overall. So there's your smasher test. Now I kind of just want to talk about this character in general now that I've kind of showcased the damage of the minigun. So whenever it comes to Diecast Jonesy, that smasher test that we had just done, that was some pretty okay damage. I think we can all agree that we killed the smasher pretty fast, and seeing as we didn't need to use one of our own guns, that was pretty decent. The main problem I really have with Diecast Jonesy in general is that you need to dedicate so many of your slots to having a good Going Commando that it makes it almost not worth it to use the character in general. Another thing is that we were actually extremely close to that smasher. Had we been a little bit farther, we wouldn't be doing anywhere close to the amount of damage that we did, because whenever you are using a minigun, you actually do have a lot less range than you might think. And we can go ahead and use it again on these guys right here. As you guys can see, the chaining from Cyberclops is actually pretty useful. But I feel like just the overall damage for this minigun is actually pretty okay. At range, it's really not good, but the main problems I have with Diecast Jonesy is that to get to that point, to get to the point of actually doing really good minigun damage, you have to dedicate way too much of your support team, 3 slots of your support team, arguably 4, just to getting your minigun where you want it to be. If you're using Cyberclops, then you do give yourself a little bit of a okay support bonus if you're not using your minigun, because keep in mind, after you use your minigun, you have about 55 seconds before you're able to use it again. And, you know, just for context, if you're doing a deliver the bomb defense, a deliver the bomb defense only lasts for 4 minutes. So you're not actually going to be able to use the main ability of your character all that much, or at least not as much as you would like. And so it quickly diminishes how good the character is once you take into consideration how much, you know, you need to put into the support slot, how long it takes for the cooldown to finish, how much, you know, the effective range is, you know, how close you need to be, and really how effective you're going to be outside of using your Going Commando. The only thing that you have going for you when you're not using Going Commando is, of course, you know, the base soldier perks, you know, stay frosty and all that kind of stuff. The class perks, I think they're called. You know, you have the class perks going for you, and you have the Cyberclop ability. Aside from that, that's it. Not to mention that whenever you do pull out your minigun, you're locked to your minigun until the minigun is over. Until you're done using Going Commando, that is the time that you're allowed to put it up. You can't sprint, you can't switch weapons, you can't do anything like that. You are forced to hold down the Going Commando and keep shooting it. So that means if you are getting shot at by a blaster, or you're getting blindsided by some husks, or a taker is coming your way, you're pretty much guaranteed dead. And, you know, the reason I bring this up is because back whenever Fortnite was a big game mode, you were pretty much guaranteed dead if you used Going Commando. You couldn't do anything. You had to be on your toes in that in-game content because you can die easily. And that is the same position I hold in late game Twine. Once you're in late game Twine, using Going Commando is more of a novelty for destroying buildings than it really is for damage, because more than likely when you use Going Commando, you're putting yourself in a place of danger, essentially. And that's just another problem with Going Commando in general. This character, Diecast Jonesy, he is absolutely fantastic for early game. He will do very good damage to the early game husks and, you know, the lower power level husks. I mean, right there, I almost died just because I couldn't move fast enough to get out of the way. But, you know, this character is absolutely perfect for anybody that is in Stonewood, Plankerton, maybe even Canny Valley, because, you know, you don't need to use your mats to use Going Commando. You know, it's just an ability. It's an ability you can use at the cost of nothing but your temporary energy, and you don't have to craft any ammo, you don't have to craft any weapons, and all that kind of stuff. Whenever it comes to Twine Peaks, it's really just putting you in danger at that point. You can't sprint, you can't move, you're forced to hold it down, and really the only purpose of a Going Commando really comes down to just destroying buildings. Whenever you get to the point of having to slot so much stuff in your support slot, where you have 4 heroes that are dedicated to an ability you can only use every 55 seconds, you already know that the character really isn't that good. And I could understand a little bit if the overall, you know, damage of this character was amazing, right? You could absolutely shred husks easily. You know, maybe that would make him a little bit more useful. But, I mean, whenever it comes down to it, normally, like, let's say a really beefy enemy comes up, like a mini boss or something, normally just regular weapons or traps or, you know, melee weapons or anything, that's going to be able to deal with the mini boss pretty quickly. It's going to be very select situations that Diecast Jonesy will be useful. Those tank mini bosses that might show up, or the ricochet mini bosses, okay, Diecast Jonesy would be pretty great to have in those situations. But that is like 2% of the total 100% of your mission, you know, that you're running. So Diecast Jonesy really doesn't serve a purpose in the late game Twine Peaks. You're really not going to see many players using this guy if they're taking the mission seriously. Going Commando, you need to put way too much into it just so it can be, you know, at least a bit above average. You know, whenever you actually use it in game, you're putting yourself at an overall disadvantage in most situations. And the 55-second cooldown with this character, you know, whenever you're using him in the commander slot, really doesn't justify the amount of support slots that it takes to make your Going Commando remotely good in any way, shape, or form. So that's overall what I think about Diecast Jonesy, and I wanted to get this review out there because I know a lot of people are interested in him. You know, is this the guy that's going to make Going Commando really good? And at the end of the day, no, it's not. Going Commando needs an overall buff, not a character to buff it up or anything like that. What it needs is an overall buff very similarly to Rosie. It either needs to increase its base damage or they need to decrease its overall cooldown rate. They need to make it where you can put it up at any time that you want. They need to make it where maybe you are able to move faster when you have it pulled out or just anything like that. Going Commando in its current state is literally only used for one thing in late game Twine. And what that thing is just destroying buildings. If you don't have an obliterator or, you know, you want to take a break from using your obliterator, or, you know, you're just a soldier and you want to get rid of a building, this is all you have to do. Why would I use Going Commando on a group of enemies when I could just throw a grenade, shockwave, or just shoot them with a normal gun? You know, I could just use Going Commando for this, and I could destroy a building with ease and just get rid of it. And there we go. You know, it's no longer in the way of the objective or the defense or anything like that. But I would say that, you know, Diecast Jonesy, he's pretty decent. You know, if you are going to play this character, make sure you are using energy weapons. You want to make sure that you're taking advantage of Cyberclops with this loadout. So if you are playing as him, make sure you use that. The one redeeming factor about this character is that he does have Warcry, so he can buff your teammates. But then again, there's so many other soldiers that can do it way better than Diecast can. And Going Commando just in general is a little bit of a wasted ability and is less used for damage and more used for just novelty purposes. But guys, that is pretty much it for my review of Diecast Jonesy and everything that I feel about him. He is one of the worst soldiers in the game, and he does not have any use in high-end Twine. But like I did say, if you are an early game player, Stonewood, Plankerton, maybe early Canny Valley, this character is actually pretty decent, and I always recommend that you guys buy everything from the item shop, just in case it might get reworked in the future and it becomes something really good. You know, there's plenty of examples in the past where people didn't pick up a character like Sledgehammer from the item shop because he was a reskin, or, you know, they just didn't like the way he played. And then, of course, later on down the line, he became one of the best heroes in the game. So I always recommend that you guys do pick things up from the item shop. Either pick this guy up for the collection book, just to level him up and just have him for the future, or just, you know, maybe you're an early game player and you want somebody that's really good with the minigun. I mean, he does convert his damage to energy, which means that it's way more useful against those elemental enemies in late Twine. But overall, Going Commando still not that good. This character really doesn't make it any better. But guys, that's pretty much it for my review of Diecast Jonesy. I hope you guys did enjoy. Tomorrow, we will have the Stonewood Endurance Mode video, so I hope you guys are excited for that. I do want to thank you guys for the recent support, you know, with the whole Discord partner, G Fuel code, just subscribers and Twitch followers and Twitter followers. Just everything has been blowing up recently. I absolutely thank you guys so much for that, and I can't believe we're even at this point. But let me know what you guys think of Diecast in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're new around here. I do videos like this almost every single day, but I do want to hear from you guys in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.